What's up guys, User here. Playing some ESG lately, waiting for the maximum franchise update to fully launch, and I've actually been getting into this game quite a bit. Now, I'm going to be talking about the wide receiver and the cornerback positions. They're mainly what my archetype build has been aimed towards, so I got a bit of playtime with on both sides of the ball. I'm going to cover some basics and kind of get you guys up to speed with what you need to know to jump into this game. We're going to start on the offensive side of the ball. Now, I like to compare this game to Backbreaker, a game I used to play that had an awareness button and a speed button. It was tough to do both of them. Well, this game has a similar concept where your L2 button essentially is what I confuse myself with as awareness. It's your strafe button, but at the same time, it keeps you square to the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. It allows you to backpedal, run forward at a steady, keep your shoulder square. R2 is your sprint button. This is just going as fast as you can. It may sacrifice some agility, but essentially you're getting from point A to B as fast as possible. You also have some modifier buttons here. Now, running routes, you can use these to essentially do different types of route running. Your block intent button here is essentially to initiate a block at the line of scrimmage. So on like a run play or something, you're definitely going to memorize this button. You can also use the right stick to block. I'll talk about that later. This is essentially sort of like your route tree. You can cut routes with the right analog stick. I don't know if you have to press that in or hit it down, but essentially I like to use this to run curls, double move, that kind of thing. Example, talking about the complexity of this game, we're diving into it now. Here is your route runner skill moves. So these are all your L1 moves, like stutter cuts, those types of things. As you can see here, there's also some hard cuts and some speed cuts. You do not need to memorize all of these. Essentially, if you're on the R1 button and you hit the right analog stick, directional up or down or whatever, it's going to take you through that cut or that step automatically. But it's good to know that if you're on the R2 button, you're prone to sprint a lot. You're going to be doing a lot of speed moves. Now, this is basically just naturally happening as you're running with the R2 button. But at the same time, if you want to set up some speed cuts or some other sharper cuts, you're going to have to let off this button and get on one of the other buttons. Next thing offensively here is when the ball is in the air. This is how you want to make a catch. It's as simple as it is. You still have your modifiers here. Normally what I like to suggest is you memorize these buttons. I think this is the same as Madden. I'm not a Madden player, but you have your basic possession catch here, which I believe just possess the ball. Squares your run after catch. You'll probably be utilizing this button most of the time. Triangle is your miraculous catch. I always call it spectacular because that's what Madden 08 had the weapon as. Circle I think is like more of like a possession. You just want to catch the ball in traffic and not take a hit. Those are your catch buttons. You have to get really good at knowing when to use these because the game doesn't auto catch for you, and that frustrates a lot of people online. The catch button and timing is so important in this game. I am the red player here. As you can see, I'm running across the screen. What's going to happen here is this player, I'm going to run myself wide open and turn and look for the ball. The quarterback here, I don't know what he's doing. He's going to throw it to me. As you can see, I was in the middle of cutting upfield at this point when he delivered the ball, so you're going to have a lot of scenarios where this kind of stuff happens. Here's two examples of a streak route. Here is just a straight I'm getting downfield, and the next example, I'm going to use one of the modifier buttons to try to get the DB to bite on a move, but he actually doesn't. He plays that real well. Defensive side of the ball, we're basically still using the R2 sprint, L2 is strafe. Those are going to be your core component buttons here. Now you can hold them both at the same time to do what's called a speed strafe. So this is sort of like a very good back pedal movement to use that can basically then be used to drive on the ball. R1 is strip tackle. If you remember that, good for you. Fumble, running scoop. I mean, there's a lot of buttons here to memorize. A lot of this stuff I don't expect people, but that's why I'm sort of making this video. Up on the right analog stick is a big hit. It's sort of like your hit stick. X is essentially your tackle button. You get near somebody, press the tackle button. Unless you have a certain skill set, I would recommend using this pretty much full time. So here is your more advanced controls. Just like the receiver, you have access to a full bag of tricks here. your L2 button, which you'll probably be using most of the time in coverage, and the directional buttons, what that's going to do for you. It's pretty self-explanatory here. Your speed strafe is essentially the same thing. You're going to be speeding faster than your regular strafe button to get to the ball, and you'll be using a combination of buttons to essentially get to the pass, break the ball up, and do certain things like that. In coverage, I'll go over this here in a second, but your interception button and your swap buttons may not be the same as like what a Madden is or a Maximum Football. Now when the ball's in the air, you have your same buttons, your strafe, your speed strafe, your sprint, that kind of stuff. Your interception is your triangle button, SWAT is your square. Now this is a little bit of an adjustment. X for me has usually been the swap button in a lot of games, so it takes a little bit of time to get used to the square button layout, but for the most part these controls are very simple. One of my favorite plays here, so I'm in a deep third. It's a long scenario here. As you can see, I'm on the L2 button pre-snap. I have my hips square. I'm basically getting into a back pedal. He's threatening inside. I'm able to do my speed turn and turn my back to the sideline to maintain leverage outside, because he's got to fight through me to get over top or to the outside of the field. He keeps breaking it in. I kind of drift to the middle of the field. Here's where I initiate the interception button, and it turns into a pick going the other way. So hope this video helped you guys. If you have any other suggestions, I'd like to do some offensive, defensive line stuff, so stay tuned for that. Again, this is ESG Football.